Welcome to the Saturday Slam and Jam here on the Athletic NBA Daily. On today's show, we're talking to Keith Parish about the Memphis Grizzlies. We're doing our good, bad, and what? And we'll end the show, like we always do, with some trivia. But before we get to any of that, Al, tell me what happened in the NBA this week.
Andrew, our top story this week is the NBA Cup. We have made it to the semifinals, which will be played tomorrow in Las Vegas. Our Final Four features the Orlando Magic and New York Knicks in the East and the Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs in the West. The Magic made it to Vegas despite losing Franz Wagner to a high ankle sprain earlier in the week on a play that sure looked a lot worse than a high ankle sprain. Even without Franz, the Magic were able to defeat the Miami Heat 117-108, led by Desmond Bane's 37 points. The Magic will be meeting the Knicks in Las Vegas, who went on the road to Toronto and easily handled the Raptors, leading by 20 points for most of the second half. This is the Knicks' third consecutive appearance in the NBA Cup quarterfinals, but their first trip to Vegas.
Let's go.
In the West, Oklahoma City continued their dominant run, beating the Phoenix Suns by 49 points while setting a franchise record with their 16th consecutive win. OKC also tied the 2016 Warriors for the best 25-game start to a season at 24-1. OKC's next test will be the San Antonio Spurs, who continue to win without Victor Wembanyama. They have gone 9-3 in his absence and beat the Los Angeles Lakers 132-119 to get to Vegas, led by Steph Castle's 30-10-6 line. The Thunder Spurs game on Saturday will be their first meeting of the season, with a chance that it will also be the return of Victor Wembanyama. Now, elsewhere in the NBA, the East standings are an absolute mess, with the number 3 seed and the number 9 seed separated by only one game. Yeah. The Celtics were the hot team in the East over the last couple weeks, going 5-0 and rocketing up the standings to the third spot. But a disappointing loss to Milwaukee without Giannis on Thursday night has stalled that ascent, putting them even with the Magic at 15-10. Now, the Magic have responded in a big way after their 4-6 start, going 11-4 in their next 15, despite having to deal with yet another injury to a star player. On the flip side, the Raptors have majorly cooled off since their fast start, losing 4 straight and 6 of their last 7, with 2 of those losses being to Charlotte during that stretch. Another team that has cooled off is the Miami Heat, who have lost 5 of 6, which included giving the Sacramento Kings their only win in the last 2 weeks. The Cavs, another East team that is stumbling at the moment, dropping 5 of their last 7 and still dealing with Darius Garland's ongoing toe issue. Outside of Detroit and New York, the East playoff spots appear to be completely up for grabs. Now, in the West, let's head to the bottom of the standings, where Derek Queen is forcing every NBA podcast, including ours, to do a segment where they reiterate how much they hate the trade, but you gotta admit that this guy's pretty good. In a close loss to the Spurs, Derek Queen put up a 30-point triple-double, going for 33, 10, and 10 with 4 blocks. He is the 13th rookie to post a 30-point triple-double. If he gets another one, which seems likely at this point, he'll tie Blake Griffin and Michael Jordan for the second most 30-point triple-doubles as a rookie. I don't know if he's going to catch Oscar Robertson, however, who had 17 30-point triple-doubles as a rookie. The Pels got their 4th win of the season this week in a game against the Blazers, which saw the return of Jordan Poole, who's been out since early November. The loss for the Blazers was a particularly low point of their season. After a promising start, the Blazers have fallen off a cliff due to a combination of injuries and lack of depth, going 3-11 in their last 14. The Blazers' defense, which we were once so excited about in the preseason, is now a bottom 10 defense per Cleaning the Glass. And speaking of being in the bottom 10, let's get an update on the land of the lost. Looking at the teams with a bottom 10 offense and defense per Clean the Glass, there are currently 6 teams in the land of the lost, but both Portland and Chicago are 1 spot away. They're knocking on the door to get us back up to 8 teams. Now, we have lost a couple teams. Memphis's defense brought them out of it, and the Clippers' offense has been better as of late, allowing them to escape. Also, don't look now, but I think the next team to escape the land of the lost might just be the Indiana Pacers, who have had the 11th best offense and 12th best defense in the last 2 weeks, during which they went 4-2. Now, if you care more about good teams and don't obsess over the bad teams like me, I will update you on the teams that have a top 10 offensive defense. Currently, we have 5 per clean of the glass: Houston, OKC, Minnesota, Detroit, and Toronto, who is still holding on
Wow.
despite their recent swoon. And those were the top stories this week, Andrew.
Wow. The early season Toronto's doing some heavy lifting right now.
I know,
for them.
seriously. Okay, Andrew, it is time to share something we liked this week, something we didn't like this week, and something that left us confused in a segment we like to call Good, Bad, What? So, Andrew, what is your good this week?
My good is I thought, hey, let's take a look at the best corner 3-point shooters in the NBA this week. It's a very valuable shot. And listen, who's doing it best this season? So I had to separate this out somehow. So it's players that have at least 2 attempts per game and have shot at least a significant amount of corner threes. Apologies to Doug McDermott, who has not missed a corner 3 so far this season, but did not make the cut. Also, apologies to Tamani Kamara, who has been absolute buns from the corners so far this season at 24%. Okay, starting with OG Anunoby, who's shooting 48% from the corner so far this season. He's not only like impacting their defense at a crazy degree, but he's hitting those corner threes. Another guy who is in Vegas, Harrison Barnes, has been cooking from the corners so far this season at 47%. Noah Clowney, who I think is one of the lone bright spots for the Brooklyn Nets so far this season, is shooting 50% from the corners. Much more of a perimeter-based player. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You think this weirdo Timberwolves team could use a guy like this who's shooting 50% from the corners this season? He's been unbelievable. And then maybe the best high-volume corner 3-point shooter in the NBA this year at a blistering 53% is Max Christie. Another little bright spot down in Dallas. He's been really, really good for the Dallas Mavericks. Those are your best corner 3-point shooters so far this season. OG Anunoby, Harrison Barnes, Noah Clowney, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and the GOAT right now, Max Christie.
Well, you mentioned Tamani Kamara being a disappointment. Let's talk about something good about the Blazers, because I mentioned how the Blazers season seems to be slipping away.
Yeah.
And things may not be looking good for Portland right now, but it's not all bad, because Deni Avdija is having a crazy season, and he did something these last couple weeks that is truly incredible. This week saw the end of a 5-game stretch where Deni got to the line 16.8 times per game. 16.8 free throw attempts per game over a 5-game stretch. Now, going back 2 decades, here's the full list of players who have done that, who have had a 5-game stretch where they averaged at least 16.8 free throws per game. James Harden, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Luka. That's it. That is the complete list. And now Deni Avdija.
Deni Avdija.
Seeing his name on that list is pretty wild, and a big part of it is how aggressive he's been as a driver. Everyone probably has heard this by now, but he's leading the league in drives per game, which is the first time since the 1920 season that SGA has not led the league in that stat. And he's got 2 drives per game lead on the guys who are number 2 and 3. Now, I know it's popular to freak out about free throws right now. Every third post on NBA Reddit is a quote unquote highlight of someone getting fouled and then having the exact same conversation over and over again in the comments. But in the case of Deni, I think the focus should be on the way he is using his size and strength as a big wing to get to the rim and get to the line. Watching some of these recent Blazer games, it does sometimes feel like Portland's only offense is give the ball to Deni and let him barrel his way to the rim. But with all their injuries and the overall lack of shooting on this team, it might be their best option right now. So I get it. No one likes watching free throws, but I think you have to admire a player going all in on his strengths and turning his aggressiveness up to 10. Pretty impressive. Now, Andrew, what is your bad this week?
So the team in the clutch that has the worst net rating so far this season as of December 12th is the Brooklyn Nets at a minus 43.1. Is that a surprise? No. But who's the second worst team in the clutch so far this season? Yes, please guess.
I'm guessing, I mean, you're only going to talk about if it's like a good teams. I'm
Yeah.
going to guess because I've watched a few of these ends, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It's a great guess. That's incorrect though.
Oh,
It is actually the Denver Nuggets are the
oh,
second worst
really?
team in the clutch this season at a minus 40.6 in 9 games. They have a 143 defensive rating and a 102 offensive rating in the clutch so far this season. Now, listen, it's not anything to be like crazy concerned about because the Nuggets are obviously a good team that has a ton of playoff experience, and this is a very limited sample size. But I'll tell you this limited sample, real bad. Really, really bad.
Are they playing? I wonder how many of those games are against bad teams, like close games against bad teams.
That listen, it's got to be several because that's kind of their MO is
Yeah.
losing to bad teams in horrific ways. But yeah, I came across that and was like, wow, that's not a team that I would have predicted to have one of the worst net ratings in the clutch. Like the Knicks are another one. They're a minus 18.3 in the clutch.
Now they were one of the lowest in total clutch time, though. I remember that
They
from the
are,
trivia
yeah, they've
questions.
had 8 games in the clutch. The Cleveland Cavaliers are also bad in the clutch, a minus 11.9. They've had 14 games for clutch time. So it's not good. It's not good for those teams in the clutch so far this season, which actually could signal a bad to good in that there's nowhere to go but up for teams like the Denver Nuggets and the Knicks in clutch time because both those teams have very good, reliable players for the clutch. You know, the Minnesota Timberwolves are actually positive in the clutch. They're 11th in the league at a plus
Yeah, they are.
7.8.
Although,
So
if you look at their record, they're 6-5 in those games.
yeah,
So that's probably more what I'm thinking about.
sure,
Um, well, the Lakers 8-0 in their clutch games.
yeah.
That's because they don't.
It's because they don't play.
They only win their close games or they get blown out.
Mm-hmm,
That's the only way it happens.
mm-hmm,
My bad this week is about Tyler Herro. Or is it, Andrew? Or is it?
mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. I saw the Dan Lebtard clip going around talking about how this recent stretch for the Heat was basically a worst case scenario for Tyler Herro because the team was playing so well early part of the season. Everyone's talking about him. And then they start to stumble right as Tyler Herro gets back in the mix. And this isn't a new idea, of course. Going back to their finals run, there's always been this question of whether the Heat are better without Herro, even though we all agree he's a good player. So,
Yeah.
in the interest of fairness, I wanted to dig a little deeper, try to figure out just how responsible is Tyler Herro for this recent stretch of poor play. First thing to point out is that Herro has not played in all these recent games. He only played in 2 games during their current 4-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
Since returning, the Heat are 3-3 in the games he's played. It's not that bad. And per PBP stats, the Heat have actually had a +4 net rating in the 191 minutes that Tyler Herro has been on the court. And they've actually been an even more impressive +7 net rating in the 122 minutes that Herro has shared the court with Bam Adebayo. Now, these are small samples, but it's hard to point the finger at Herro based on his minutes so far. So what has changed for the Heat? Well, first, the bench hasn't been nearly as productive as they were earlier in the season. They were scoring before this recent stretch 45 points per game, which was the 3rd highest bench production in the league. They're now down to 35 points per game in these last 6 games, which is kind of middle of the road. But more importantly, I think a lot of this is just bad shooting luck and regression to the mean because before this recent stretch where the Heat lost 5 of 6, Heat opponents were shooting 31% on above the break threes, second lowest mark in the league, and 35% from the corners, 6th worst in the league. During the current 6-game stretch, opponents are now shooting 41% on above the break threes and 44% from the corners. They're getting lit up from 3 in a way that they haven't been all season. And while you could certainly make the case that Herro probably isn't helping their defense, 3-point variance involves a lot of luck. So I absolutely think there's something to be said about Miami installing this new offense with minimal pick and rolls and now trying to reintegrate a player who last year used over 35 picks per 100 possessions per Cooper Moorhead on NBA.com. Maybe Levitard is right and Herro does end up getting traded. Maybe he just doesn't fit with this new style. But I think the early returns for Herro's reintegration have been better than the recent win-loss record might suggest, and it's largely being influenced by some regression to the mean for opponents' 3-point shooting. So I wouldn't worry about it. too much.
Yeah, it's he's only played 6 games too. It's like,
I know.
can we just give this a little bit of time? Like any 6-game sample that you get, and that's the problem with like some of these beginning of season stats, like especially with guys coming back from injury. Like any 6-game stretch is not really going to matter to most teams, But
Yeah,
it's
and
like it's the first sample that you get. It's like, oh, this must be like the way it's going to be the rest of the way, kind of thing.
I also think as good as their start to the season was, I don't think anyone was looking at this Miami Heat team as like, oh, they're dominant. They're going to be a contender.
Oh
Like
no,
they're absolutely the kind of team that could lose 4 games in a row. Like it's not
yeah.
that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. So, so that's my bad this week. But is it that bad? Andrew, what is your what this week?
Oh man, so the Los Angeles Clippers, they've been bad.
No, leave them
They've been
alone, Andrew. Leave them alone.
No, can't do it. I have a couple things on the Clippers. Yesterday, Tyronn Lue didn't talk to reporters after the game, and Justin Russo, on who covers the Clippers, reached out to them and asked like why Tyronn Lue wasn't made available to the media after the game, and he said that the Clippers said that Lue was made available post game, but no one was in the interview room. And there was no traveling media that night, which is becoming an issue across the league, is that there's not many media traveling in general right now, just kind of the state of journalism. But friend of the show, friend of mine, Kelly Eco, said that couldn't be further from the truth. I went there immediately after the final buzzer. At least 4 people were in that interview room, including a member of Rockets PR designated to transcribe Lue's postgame presser, and we were told that he wouldn't be speaking and left. So, wow. I can't.
Lies.
You know what? Hard for me to believe that the Clippers would ever want to cover anything up and lie about it. Just
interesting.
Yeah. Just couldn't believe it. Also, this confused me. The 2-man duo of Harden and Zubats last season were a +10 together in a ton of minutes. 106 defense, 117 offense. This season in 661 minutes, so it's not like it's just like this tiny sample. There's a lot there. They're a -2.9 together. And like Harden's been good this season. Zubats has had a little bit of a step back. He's been a little bit better lately. But, I think that whenever you're trying to like find the reasons why things aren't going well for the Clippers, I don't think that that's where you'd first look. But that combo has not been as effective. I mean, the swing is 13 points for 100 possessions for those two, which is a lot. Now the Clippers have looked better lately. They're still not winning games, but they are at least playing closer games. But that's a number that I'm going to monitor. Like, does that duo get better? Because if that duo doesn't get any better, that was kind of their bread and butter last year. That was one of the reasons why they were a good team at all. And this year, they are losing the minutes that those two are playing. So it's just been really, really strange. That's why it's my what. It's like I don't quite understand what the difference is for those guys this season compared to last.
Yeah, they're such a confusing team because you watch that game against the Rockets. Rockets, really good team, great net rating, and they go in and play them so close, and then they just find a way to lose at the end.
Don't even inbound the ball. It's just like what? They're not only are they bad, but they are confusing.
It was just such a bizarre ending because first, like Kawhi gets called for that push off, which like I guess. But also, like, we've seen Shea do that same move a lot and never get called. And it wasn't like an especially egregious push-off. So it's just like bad luck that the refs call that on you. And then, you have that inbounds where no one comes to get the ball. And Nicholas Batum just steps on the line and gives it over. They didn't even have a chance to win it. And I don't know if they should have won that game, but they should have at least had a chance to tie it and send it in overtime.
You should at least get a possession. Can we get a possession?
It was just brutal because they hung with them the whole time.
Yeah.
There were stretches of that game where they looked like the better team, and then they just find some way to lose.
Yep.
My what this week is a story I was sent by a listener, Andrew. Neuron Zero on Blue Sky sent me a story from Pounding the Rock about Spurs forward Keldon Johnson. Now, Neuron Zero wanted me to make this the top story this week. I couldn't do that, but I can put it as my what. Now, ever since the NBA Cup was put in place, you've heard some fans bemoan the fact that players need more money to be incentivized to play regular season games, but I think those fans would not be nearly as upset if more players gave answers like Keldon Johnson did.
Yeah.
When Cassidy Hubbard asked him what would he do with the NBA Cup winnings if the Spurs went all the way, Keldon Johnson said that he'd spend the money on a llama, of course, which would live on his ranch outside San Antonio, where he currently has 11 goats, 4 cows, 2 horses, a donkey, and 6 chickens. Now, I don't know what your opinion is on llamas, Andrew, but I'm a big fan.
Sure.
I'm assuming they do this other places, but I'm also aware that this next sentence is going to sound extremely Portland. But when I was in school, our administrators rented out therapy llamas for finals week. So in between exams, you could go out to the parking lot and there were just these 2 big ass llamas walking around that you could pet them, you could feed them, you talk to them. They were great. Just beautiful, goofy looking guys just hanging out in the parking lot. And I think if we could get more players to commit to spending their NBA Cup money on things like llamas, we could really take the NBA Cup to the next level. What if every team had a therapy llama on staff? Every team's already got like 16 coaches on the bench. You're telling me we can't find one more seat for a llama in a quarter zip, Andrew? Come on. We can do this. Llamas are great. And I'm just excited that there's an NBA player who is so committed to animals, has this big ranch, but willing to diversify and bring in a llama to this group.
Yeah, let's go. It is funny though, like the whole money aspect of the cup, because guys are super motivated. Like I've talked to the Thunder guys about it a lot, and they all want to win, and the money is part of the reason they want to win. And it's so hilarious to me that's like some of the analysis behind like why, like, if you only paid the guys $1 million if they won the All-Star game, like guys wouldn't play hard for that. Like they already have all this money. They're getting half of that, and they're like, yeah, let's go get it. Like, and now we're talking about one game. Listen, NBA, it's not that complicated. We don't need to do all these weird versions of the All-Star game. The blueprint is being handed to you through this NBA Cup right now. Just pay the guys to win, and I'll bet you they'll go play.
And pay them in llamas.
Another team that could use some therapy llamas right now is the Memphis Grizzlies, and we're going to talk to Keith Parish about them right after this quick break.
All right, Andrew, it is time for the Wheel of Fandom, the weekly segment where we spin a wheel, it lands on a team, and we become fans of that team for the next week. And last week, the wheel landed on the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, they only had 2 games this week, but they won them both over the Clippers and Blazers. The Grizzlies have been on a nice run as of late, winning 7 of their last 9, getting up all the way to the 9th seed in the West. Unfortunately, as seems to always be the case with Memphis, nothing good lasts that long, because we learned on Thursday that Zach Edey, a big reason for their recent improvements, will be sidelined for at least 4 weeks with a stress reaction in his ankle. Per Cleaning the Glass, the 11-13 Grizzlies have the 25th ranked offense and the 13th ranked defense. Andrew, if the Grizzlies are our favorite team, who is our guest?
It is our friend Keith Parish from the Grits and Grinds podcast, also from Fastbreak Breakfast, one of the most fun NBA podcasts out there. Keith, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Also, I think I don't want to do the Wheel of Fandom anymore.
Why not?
What's
the problem?
Am I misremembering this? Every time we have a Wheel of Fandom, something horrific happens.
I do remember that.
I'm not making this up. Did you,
No,
you guys asked me early in the week to come on the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Love the show. Happy to help. And then Zach Edey gets hurt. Wait, and I feel like the last time, was it like the Desmond Bain trade or something? It was like you guys asked me to come on, and then something happens after I'm already agreed to come on. Like, this is breaking news. I'm here to talk about Zach Edey on your show. I haven't even recorded my own show about Zach Edey getting hurt. I don't think I'm going to. Do you guys experience this? There's not traffic for bad news. in podcasting. Like there's breaking news. A trade rumor's amazing for traffic. An actual
Yeah.
trade's amazing for traffic. Saying Zach Edey is out for 4 weeks, no one clicks on that. They're
Yeah.
like, I know, brother. I don't want to hear you tell me they're
know.
out.
You should
So
just take our audio. You can just use
I
this
feel
audio.
like
We'll send it to you.
your wheel of fandom, which I understand you rig so I can come on more frequently. I get that part of it. But I do feel like there's some negative Twilight Zone style curse that has now accompanied the wheel of fandom. I don't want the wheel to pick me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually remember one of the rare instances where I remember the wheel lining up with something crazy was when Ja got suspended by the team.
Yeah.
It
There
was
you
that
go.
week, and
I knew
remember
it was
going.
something. I knew it was something horrible happened when I was on this show.
And I remember going on. I saw a post about the show on the Grizzlies subreddit, and they were all saying this is obviously rigged. They clearly picked the Grizzlies because they want to talk about Ja, but it was just a random thing. And so maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something here.
The wheel has power.
The wheel has power, and I fear it.
You should. Well, Keith, things were looking better for the Grizz until we got the news about Zach Edey during this stretch. What stood out to you about Edey's play compared to what he looked like as a rookie?
A couple of things stood out. One, he seemed to be moving faster. I don't have my sports radar to actually know. It's not the NFL games where they give me the miles per hour. I feel like he was literally moving faster, quicker to react. I don't know if that was just in my head. Also, he was catching every pass thrown to him, which was a big difference from last year. Also, he was making his hook shots. Also, he was doing post moves going both to the left and to the right. All of that was a big improvement. And I know there's a lot of big Edey fans who were saying last year, oh, he's just doing it. And these are all the reasons why it's not working out the best. I know when Islo took over last year, he kept praising Zach Edey's impact. But to me, who was maybe more of an Edey skeptic, in the however many games he played this year, 11 games I think he played, he seemed like he's moving faster. He's scoring the ball when he gets it. It might just be that his teammates are looking for him constantly, or were looking for him constantly. It so happened to line up that he didn't end up playing with Ja Morant except for a few minutes. So Edey has looked much better. And also there's the contrast of how the Grizzlies were playing this year to start the year. And then when Edey started playing, they started winning some games. And of course, there's a direct correlation between the strength of opponent, which is what Grizzlies fans were trying to like parse out. Like how much of this is we got to play bad teams versus the good teams early in the year. But yeah, Edey seemed quicker, more confident, and maybe his teammates were just prioritizing him more, and all that seemed like a change.
So the injury obviously has huge ramifications for the Grizzlies, but specifically Jaren Jackson Jr., because those two, when on the court together, have been a plus 6.6 this season compared to a minus 13.8 when it's just Triple J without Zach Edey. There's been a lot of discussion about Triple J's play this season. How worrying has it been? Or is this just a case of Triple J needing Edey to succeed given the other options on the Grizzlies roster?
Jaren's play has been very concerning. I think you look at the priority the franchise placed on locking him up with that renegotiate an extension. And
Yeah.
some have argued, I have argued, that it seems like that was a long-term goal to make moves that maybe were harmful to certain seasons because they were still prioritizing this one off season. We have to keep Jaren. And then for them to move off of Desmond Bane, also in the offseason, focus on Ja and Jaren, to do all of that, and then to have Jaren come out this year and have his scoring be way low. His defensive impact has been very low, not up to his normal standards. So all of that, highly concerning. I'm not totally sure what it's all about, but like Jaren not scoring like we've seen and not defending and causing havoc on defense like we've seen. Also, his offensive fouls are at career high levels. Like, what's going on? Maybe he should change the jersey number back to 13. Number 8 hasn't worked out so far.
Yeah, it's been really weird. Something that's actually been a bright spot has been Cedric Coward, the rookie for the Grizzlies. He's already getting big minutes for the team. Has had some really big nights. What's been like some of the best things about his game? Does he remind you of anybody? Like you have a comp that when you watch him?
Oh, I I don't have a comp that immediately comes to mind. The things that popped out, I mean, noticeably when he started getting heavier run early in the season, you just could see like, oh, that guy's one of our best players. And then
Yeah.
there was many games where you're like, hey, this rookie is our best player in this game. I think the fact that he's so fluid in getting to his mid-range shot, which I'm going to go and make the comp Michael Jordan-esque
Oh,
for
there we
Cedric
go.
Coward,
That's
Hell
getting
yeah.
to those nice 15,
like
17
that.
footers, and he goes up and makes them. I mean, I think Cedric himself wants to comp himself to Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
There's a body similarity, there's a wingspan similarity, but like Cedric Coward is a great rebounder. He's making those hustle effort plays. He's just a fluid player where he's making the right pass. He's attacking closeouts when he needs to. And so you've seen this like bright spot in the Grizzlies season so far where all of a sudden this guy has been super promising. He also started the season on an unbelievable heater from the 3-point line. It was kind of funny because he comically could make nothing in the preseason. And this is a guy who barely played Division I basketball, didn't play Summer League because he was recovering from a shoulder issue he suffered last winter. And then when the regular season started, he's like, oh, I'm good. I am now Jimmy Butler with the 3-pointer. And there's another comp for you. He's a Michael Jordan, Kawhi, Michael Jordan type player, if you will. So yeah, Cedric's been really fun. He's really good.
So the Grizzlies have played most of this season without any players who are normally categorized as point guards. And interestingly, it's been Vince Williams Jr. who has been playing that role for much of this stretch, averaging over 5 assists per game. And I say interesting because he had that breakout season 2 years ago. Then he fell out of the rotation for large stretches last season, and now he's back in a big way. The efficiency hasn't been good, but he has been useful as a playmaker. What are your current thoughts on Vince Williams Jr. as part of this rotation going forward?
I feel somewhat relieved that my infatuation with him 2 years ago wasn't totally off base. He
Yeah.
did look so promising the year the Grizzlies were horrible a couple of years ago, the Ja Morant suspension season. Probably the wheel of fandom landed on me several times that year, and everything went horribly for the Grizzlies. So he looked so good a couple of years ago as a primary defensive stopper. He
Yeah.
was guarding Steph Curry and Luka Doncic and Kevin Durant. Like this guy was the person they had to put on the other team's best player, but he also was making good passes and offensive rebounds, and he's getting deflections, steals. And so like he showed that. And then last year he just wasn't very good. Maybe there was health issues. He never totally got right. And now being thrust into this starting point guard role, we're seeing that again. Yeah, he can't really shoot the basketball, but he's doing sort of a throwback Rajon Rondo style. I'm not going to shoot the basketball at all, but I'm just going to get rebounds and assists. And he also specifically understands where his bread is buttered with Zach Edey, and he just makes it a priority to get the big man the basketball. And so they run so many pick and rolls. He's always finding him on post ups, and he's just focusing. He's also really good at passing in a crisp manner. This is also where I need someone to track the velocity of Vince Williams' passes. I've said this for a couple of years. I feel like they're faster than other people's passes. And he had this 17 assist game where most of the assists were to 3-point shooters. And you could say, I don't know, it's not like a super valuable. He didn't find a cutting guy for a dunk or a layup, like we might think of some kind of like super assist. But I do think there's extreme value in how quickly Vince can zip the ball across the court to an open shooter, hits him right in the shooting pocket. So he's been really good at this role that honestly it's unique and new for him. He's not really a point guard. And now having the ball in his hands, he has been one of the reasons. Also, I think replacing, let's say, Ja Morant's defense with Vince Williams Jr.'s defense, where all of a sudden you're starting Vince at the 1, and then you got Jalen Wells and Cedric Coward, and then Jaren and Zach Edey. That's who they've been starting. That, I think, regardless of opponent, that would have lifted the defense. But yeah, Vince he's a weird, unique player, but yeah, he's done a great job with what's been asked of him.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird. Like he and Cam Spencer have taken over like point guard duties for the Grizzlies and have like been pretty good. I mean, if you told me that was going to happen this season, I'd been like, man, this is going to be a disaster. But Cam has also been a little bright spot for them.
Cam Spencer's been awesome. I mean, the Spencer brothers are sort of taking over the NBA, but Cam Spencer
kind of are.
I want to say, I don't have the stat pulled up exactly, but the guy's averaging 15 points and 5 assists in the Grizzlies' last 10 games. This is I think he's a 53rd pick. He was a late second round pick last year. Went on a two-way. They gave him a standard contract this offseason. And I think the initial thought was he needs to replace Luke Kennard. Like, they got rid of Luke Kennard off the bench. Can be a cheaper Luke Kennard replacement? He is way better than Luke Kennard, like way better. He is an aggressive offensive player. He is top 10 in the NBA in free throw percentage and 3-point percentage. He's a high volume shooter. And like you said, he's been playing backup point guard. He's been second on the team in assists, over the last 10 games or so. Yeah, Cam and Vince, and also Jalen Wells' resurgence, all of it has coincided with Zach Edey's play, and that's why the Grizzlies have been winning basketball games of late.
Yeah, that draft is looking really good for the Grizzlies, and has kept them afloat at times this season. Okay, last question. Let's go a little bit more big picture. What do you think feels like the most likely path forward, like team building wise, for the Grizzlies, and how does that differ from what you would want them to do moving forward?
From what I want them to do based on win in history. Based on right now?
Yeah, right now. But
like not based on before they traded Desmond.
When else would we pick?
Based on before they traded Desmond Bane?
Oh,
based
no,
on before.
No. We're talking right
based
here.
On right now. Right now we're under 500. Zach Edey has foot issues, and Ja Morant seems like he doesn't like playing basketball.
Yes.
Is that the right now?
Yes.
This is the time.
That's
right
the one.
now.
I mean, cover your ears, Grizzlies fans. Sell high on Edey. Sell high on Edey. We got 10 games of Zach Edey being Shaquille O'Neal. There's Dwight Howard out there.
This is not the answer I was
Cash
expecting.
in on Edey.
Let's go.
Zach Edey and Cedric Howard are very good. I think if you play the game, you would say those are your untouchables that you build around. Listless Jaren and listless Ja, I don't know what you do with those guys. Jaren's still very young. He's an awesome player. There's an awesome player in there. A multiple all-defensive guy, a 2-time All-Star. We've seen him score 20 points, 22 points per game in multiple seasons. His extension is not crushing. It's not like the $70 million a season variety. So he just signed for a long time. You assume that's a huge building block. So I think going forward, you probably play out this year, and you're still probably going to make the play-in. I don't know. Like, the Clippers are going to have to make a huge turnaround at some point. Maybe they will, but I think even with the Zach Edey injury news, the Grizzlies are probably going to hang around 10th, 9th. Maybe they fall to 11th, but I do think they're going to probably play, I'd say even play the year out. There's no one on the squad that I think you would sell. This is not a Dallas Mavericks. We need to sell Anthony Davis this year to use our draft pick. The Grizzlies have their own draft pick, but I don't, who are you cashing out on? I mean, there's no one. If a market develops for Ja Morant, I do think that would be an interesting, if you decide we've seen the best of Ja and we could get something for him, but it doesn't seem like there's an appetite. There's a lot of guys like Ja out there who there isn't an appetite for teams to trade for. So I honestly think you play this year out, you try to make the play in, and then you get maybe the 12th pick, 10th pick. Hopefully the Suns start losing games because the Grizzlies probably get their first round pick. And then you get a couple of maybe later lottery picks and you build around Cedric and Zach.
Actually, I do have one more question, because you mentioned how this difference between when Edey wasn't playing, Edey is playing. Part of it is Edey, but part of it is the competition. You also mentioned some of these other good things that happened during that span, like Cam Spencer kind of breaking out. Are you feeling more hopeful about these next 4 weeks in terms of their ability to just kind of keep their head above water while Edey's out compared to how they looked at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I am more hopeful because of the improved play of Jalen Wells. I think seeing Vince Williams look healthy again, and the fact that we have proof of concept that Jaren is great. Obviously,
Yeah,
with Ja Morant too. Some part of my fan brain thinks Ja has watched them win with defense and getting Edey the ball, and maybe Ja can step in, even if there is no Edey. Ja's going to be like, "Oh, I'm on board with this. I'm no longer going to question if it's Coach Isolo or anything. He's going to try to win." The schedule isn't as grueling as it was early in the year, and they of course were still finding their way with the new system. I do think you had a new coach while he took over last year as interim. They came out of training camp with doing new things. They had players they thought were going to be heavily involved that then were not involved. That's Ty Jerome and Scottie Pippen
Yeah.
Jr. So the beginning of the year was a lot of people learning new rules with a new coach, a new coaching staff, and then playing some harder teams. And they lost to all the harder teams. So like they've lost all the good teams. They've beaten all the bad teams. That's a fine place to be if you're a middle of the road NBA squad. And so I think with Ja coming back, I am more optimistic. The next 4 weeks are not going to be a repeat of the 4-9 start to the year.
Well, Keith, thank you for answering all of our Grizzlies questions. But it's now time to play Andrew versus the Beat Grizz edition. Now, Keith, you've played this before. I came up with 8 questions about the Grizzlies. You're going to give me a number between 1 and 8. It will correspond to a question. If you get it right, you'll get at least 2 points. If you get it wrong, Andrew will have a chance to steal for 1, and we'll go back and forth until all the questions have been asked and answered. So, Keith, to start us off, I just need a number between 1 and 8.
Let's go number 1.
Question number 1, Zach Edey had a 32-point, 17-rebound game against the Kings this season. Who was the last Grizzly to have that many points and rebounds in a game?
I'm going to say Jonas Valanciunas.
Keith, that is correct for 2 points. He's on the board. Andrew, board is yours.
I'll go number 2.
Question number 2, Grizzlies rookie Cedric Coward hit 6 3-pointers in a game this season. Which Grizzly, over the course of their entire franchise, has the most games with 6+ 3-pointers?
Most games with 6+ 3-pointers.
6+ 3-pointers. Most games. Franchise history.
Wow. Mike Miller?
Mike Miller is correct, Andrew, for 2 points. We got a hot start. All right, back to Keith.
Let's do number 3.
Jaren Jackson Jr. gets a lot of flack for his rebounding, but he's not the only tall guy with less than impressive rebound totals. In fact, among players who have played at least 600 minutes this season, there are 2 other players, 6'10 or taller, who have fewer rebounds than Triple J. Name them both. Now, you get 1 point per correct answer. So these are active players this season, 6'10 or taller, who have played as many minutes as Triple J, but have fewer rebounds.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
How man, how long do I have? This seems like a hard one.
This is a really hard one.
Yeah, the first 2 were kind of fun. And
I'm like running through every team's roster in my head. How
you got to think of tall guys.
How many minutes did you say?
600, so a lot of minutes. That's a lot of minutes.
That's a lot of minutes, too.
That's a lot of minutes.
So we're only talking about like high minute guys in the league.
Huh.
Now, and I got to know people's heights as well.
I know, it is challenging.
This is a good question.
This is a psycho question. This is crazy.
How tall? I'll go. I don't know if he hits the height limit or the minutes limit. I'm gonna guess Nick Batum.
Nick Batum. That is incorrect. Actually, could he be?
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
That's a good.
He might have more rebounds too.
That's a good guess.
I was about to say he's 6'8". He's 6'7", according to Basketball Reference.
Wow, that's a non-generous listing on Basketball Reference.
That is.
Okay.
Andrew, you got any ideas?
Golly. I don't know. This is a hard one.
How about just name a tall guy?
What about I don't know. Noah Clowney. I don't know.
Andrew, that is correct for 1 point.
What? That's not
Yes.
right. How did you do that?
I was looking at Noah Clowney stuff earlier today. It's just no way.
Can you get the other name?
That's unreal.
I have a corner 3 stat for him earlier in the show that I was thinking about him. I don't know. I don't know.
You're passing.
I'll pass on the next one.
So I thought no one would get Noah Clowney. The only reason I asked this question is because I thought you might get the other name, which is Kevin Durant.
Oh, KD. Oh, that's weird, though.
That's because Steven Adams is stealing all those rebounds.
I know.
Boosting all his
Steven
rebound
Adams.
stats.
Well, it's funny. Usually he does the opposite, where he is giving guys rebounding stats. Gave Russell his MVP, you know.
All right, Andrew, board is yours.
4.
Vince Williams Jr. had a game with 17 assists this season, as we talked about earlier. There are only 3 other Grizzlies in franchise history to have a 17-plus assist game. Now, one is Ja Morant. That makes sense. Name the other 2, and you do get 1 point per correct answer. So these are Grizzlies throughout franchise history that had a 17-plus assist game.
Oh, my. This is a tough one because they don't have like a ton of like assisty point guards. White chocolate?
Oh, Andrew, that is correct. Jason Williams. Wow. Okay.
Pow?
Not Pow. Okay, Keith, you have a chance to steal a point if you could name the other Grizzly.
I knew the Jason Williams one for sure. Now I'll have to guess. I feel like...
And I'm realizing now, well...
What is this?
I can't say it. I'll just say there's something about this answer. Maybe me just saying that will help you, but
yeah, I'm worried it's a Vancouver day, and I'm trying to think of who. Let's go, Mike Bibby.
It is Mike Bibby, yes. Yeah, normally I wouldn't include that, and it didn't hit me until I just saw his name. I was like, wait, when did he play in Memphis? I looked it up. Oh, yeah. But you get the point, and you have control of the board. It is 4-3.
All right, let's jump ahead to 8.
Oh, jumping ahead to 8. Question number 8. According to Basketball Reference, Memphis is one of only 3 teams where every single player on the roster, including two-way players, played college in the U.S. There's only 3 teams you can say that about. Name one of the other teams where this is also true. Every single player played college in the U.S.
This is the hardest question I've ever faced on here. I have no idea where any of these players came from. Let's go with the Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix. You know what? I think that's a really good guess. It's not correct.
Okay.
But if I remember correctly, that is a really good guess. Let's see. Yes. Oh, the only player, and this is actually really unfair. I kind of think I should give you the point. It's Jalen Green. Who played for G League Ignite. That's the only one.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That's yeah. All right, I take my loss.
Andrew?
All played college. I don't know. The Nets?
Not the Nets. One is the Indiana Pacers. And then the reason I asked this question, because I thought it was funny, Toronto.
Oh, that is funny.
It's a little cute question. Okay, yeah. Andrew, board is yours.
That's a little cute question. 5.
Question number 5. If you added together the career highs for Cam Spencer and Pat Spencer, what would the number be? Now, you get to choose who answers first. You can make Keith answer, and then you go higher or lower, or you can answer, and Keith will go higher or lower.
Wow. 71.
Keith?
That's a lower for me, dog.
Yeah, that's what are you talking about, Andrew?
Dude,
I was gonna guess 42.
Okay, the answer is 42. Exactly.
Hey!
Wow. Andrew, what? Play that out for me. What were the totals in your head?
We need to hear the totals in your head when you were adding them up.
The totals in my head were, I honestly didn't really think about it that much.
Yeah,
As you
I
can
could tell.
You were like, well, Pat Spencer probably has a 38-point game, and then maybe Cam's career high is 33.
Listen, for all of these questions, I go plus or minus 15. So,
Usually you get within like one of the correct answer. That is the furthest you've ever been.
That was a bad one. That was a bad one.
We have a tie game with 2 questions left, 4-4. Keith, the board is yours.
I'll take number 6.
Question number 6. When this Grizzly is on the court, Memphis's offense is plus 11.7 points per 100 possessions better than when he's off the court, which is the biggest offensive on-off swing for the team. Who is the player? So when this guy's on the court, Memphis's offense, supercharged.
Interesting. I'm just going to say Zach Edey.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
He is the guy for defense, though. Andrew, any guesses?
What about my potential 50-point score, Cam Spencer?
Nope. It was Santi Aldama.
Oh.
Aldama, which brings us to a final question that will decide the week. And what a question it is. Here we go. Now, Andrew, you're going to start with this, but this is the one where we go back and forth.
Oh, no.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of only 15 players who currently have 30-plus three-pointers and 20-plus blocks this season. We're going to name the other 14. So this is current players this season, 30-plus three-pointers, 20-plus blocks. There's only 15 of them. Triple J is one. We're going to name the other 14. Now, Andrew, you're going to give me a name. Then Keith will give me a name. We'll go back and forth till one of you stumbles, which will decide this week's winner. So, Andrew, who do you got?
33s and 20 blocks.
20 blocks. I would have loved for it to be 30-30, but it did not work out.
Jay Huff.
Jay Huff. Wow. I mean, yes, but wow.
That's
an
the one
opening
to start
salvo.
with. Yeah.
I subscribed to a lot of I wish I could give credit because I don't remember where I read this, but I subscribed to a lot of emails that give you different stats. And the stat was that he leads the league in total blocks so far this season.
Oh,
Jay Huff does. And that immediately got me to Jay Huff's basketball reference page.
That's wild.
Keith.
I'll say Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns is not on the list.
Oh, wow.
Which means Andrew wins the week.
Yes.
Let's see how close he was. I mean, I'd imagine he'd be pretty close. So total.
He hasn't blocked 20 shots this year?
He's had 43. Oh, no, he's had 18 blocks.
No.
What is Karl Anthony Towns doing out there?
I don't know. There's some fun names on this list. Tyrese Maxey is on the list.
Oh.
Mikal Bridges, Scotty Barnes, Chet, Evan Mobley, Jaden McDaniels, Derek White, Onyeka Okongwu, Naz Reid, Miles Turner, Andrew Wiggins, Matas Buzelis, and PJ Washington Jr.
Wow.
Congrats, Andrew.
Let's go.
You win the week.
You should have automatically won with the Noah Clowney get.
Yeah. That was a really good poll.
But also so bad guessing that the Spencer brothers have scored career high 71 together.
You respect them too much.
You know what? I am in a group chat with Jay King that he talks about the Spencer brothers a lot, and so my thoughts of them are inflated. Hey, go listen to the Grits and Grinds podcast. It's a great Grizzlies podcast. Keith is one of the best podcasters out there, so please go listen to that. Also listen to the Fastbreak Breakfast Pod. You can listen to it on YouTube or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Keith, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Andrew, that was Grizzlies week. It was looking pretty good until the wheel ruined it. Let's see. Who is our next victim for the upcoming week? We're going to spin the wheel.
Oh, no.
And our Wheel of Fandom team for next week will be the Utah Jazz.
Sorry, Jazz. It's about to get much worse.
Utah Jazz.
Oh, man. You know what? The Jazz actually could use the wheel. Maybe this means that they will be much better, you know?
Perhaps. Let's see. Who are the Jazz playing this week? Any good game? Oh, well, guess who they're playing immediately? The Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh.
Then they'll be playing Dallas. And
Okay.
then they play the Lakers next Thursday night.
Wow. Well, there you go. Okay. If you will leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Just like this one from Nick is the worst. 5 stars for America's sweetheart. The old mutt, Josh Robbins, is electric on the Slam and Jam, even though they waited till he had a cold to bring him on. Wishing hangnails on both Alex and Andrew. Thank you for that 5-star review. Please leave us one. We'll read it on the show. Hey, listen, me and the rest of the NBA Daily crew will be at the Cup because we respect the NBA Cup. Okay, so if you see any of us there, we'd love to talk to listeners of the Slam and Jam or of the NBA Daily. So come connect with us while we're there. Make sure you subscribe to the Discord. I'm going to put that in the show notes. Would love to have you guys join us there. Enjoy the Emirates Cup this weekend, and we'll talk to you guys again next Saturday.